Good day, everyone. Welcome to week number 7 for Decipher Wars Radio. I am your host, Mark Tuttle. This program deals with everything there is to know about Decipher's upcoming Wars TCG. We're 59 days and counting from the release of the latest and greatest trading card game from Decipher. We got a big show for you today, folks, but first let's look back at the week on Decipher.com. It was a great week for you guys that like spoilers because we posted all of the card templates from the 5 factions from the Muman Rift Wars TCG. Thanks to Decipher artist Joe Bolden for getting those up for us. Joe, of course, designed the templates, and as all the guys and gals on the Decipher art staff, they are just tremendous in what they're able to put out down there. It was also great to read your reactions about the templates on the Decipher message boards. It seems like everybody was pretty much wowed by them, as we expected they would be. And here's a hint, folks, they look a lot better with text and card images in them. And that is coming sooner than you might think. We'll tell you about that here in just a bit. All right, first, though, let's do our interview of the week. This is a guy who's written a ton of stuff in sci-fi and fantasy, and he is helping Decipher with the backstory on the Muman Rift Wars TCG. By phone, let's welcome Michael Stackpole. Michael, welcome to Decipher Wars Radio.
Hey, how's it going?
Tell us where you are right now.
I am right now in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is just outside of Phoenix, and it is blisteringly hot here.
It's a dry heat, though, right?
That's right, just like the inside of your oven, so, you know.
All right, well, listen, Michael, the reason we're talking to you is because your name is now becoming quite well associated with Decipher's latest project, the Muman Rift Wars TCG. Let's back up a little bit and first tell people who maybe don't know, what exactly are you doing with a game design project?
Well, my background comes out of game design. A good 25 years ago, I started working for Flying Buffalo full-time and doing game design for them, and I've done a lot of freelance work down through the years for a variety of different companies. So this is really the first time I've had the opportunity to work with a company working on a card game. But in the past, I've also done this same sort of development work with companies like FASA on their BattleTech stuff, and other companies for other little projects. This is a lot of fun. This is the really cool stuff where you get to be creative and you get a nice mix of ideas going, and it's a very neat process.
How many books have you written right now, though?
Last count, I think I've written 37. I think 35 of them are out.
Wow. Okay, so you're an expert at this. Have we done anything stupid? Are we doing what we need to be doing? What do you think of the stuff that we're giving you to work with to start writing stories on?
Well, what I think is really cool, and again, having worked to develop projects before, one of the coolest things that you guys are able to do is generate a lot of really good ideas and not get hung up on just keeping those ideas per se, but you're looking to make them the best they can possibly be. And this has been really a cool part of the project for me because, material will be sent to me from Decipher. I'll sit there and say, hey, look, how about we take this and we just ramp it up a notch and send it back? And then what comes back to me has been ramped up another notch. And so we keep that sort of energy and synergy going, and it just makes everything so much better. The other thing which is very, very cool, and oftentimes you don't see it when you're developing a project, is certain companies and certain people will get this whole "it wasn't invented here" thing in their heads. So they don't really welcome the contribution of outside creative individuals. When you do, the way Decipher is on this project, what it means is that everybody's going to be able to bring something to it, everybody's going to be able to contribute, and so it's just going to be that much better. Now,
you are working on some short stories for us right now, some fiction or science fiction, I suppose, is probably more accurate. And I'm about halfway through the first story, which I have to say is great. The story right now that I have it as it's titled is A Matter of Life and Death. Tell us a little bit about that story. And one of the things in particular is you're seeing some of the artwork, and you're starting to flesh out the characterizations of what we're giving to you as just a picture. So tell us about the story and tell us how you start doing that.
Well, one of the things that we wanted with a story for the opening story is to present one that'll give you a little bit of the background of the universe, but especially give you a feel for the universe. So what we've got in this story is we've got people from three of the different 5 factions, and you're kind of getting your first look at some of the aliens as well. You've got characters from 2 of the different human societies. And so you're getting these characters playing off against each other, having to work with each other to face off another threat. The reason I enjoyed writing the story was that, again, one of the problems that you can sometimes get with this kind of work is the property owners, that would be Decipher, want this core dump of information to go out there so everybody knows how the universe works. And fortunately, Decipher didn't want that. What they wanted was a good story first that got some of the points about the universe across, but mostly concentrated on the drama, on the characters, and the sort of fun that we're all going to be able to have with the universe all the way down the line.
Now, one of the characters that's at least mentioned in the story, I haven't got to her part yet, was one of the first conceptual pieces that we've actually put out, and you've put a name to that character, and you've started to put some characterization to that character. Now, this game, the mechanics are based on our old Star Wars CCG license, but right now there's no Luke Skywalker, there's no Darth Vader. Right now we've got some images on cards. It must be fairly exciting for you to start deciding who's a hero, who's a villain, who has this agenda, who has this type of characterization. How do you approach that? How do you do it?
Well, a lot of the things and a lot of the experience that I've had in the past has let me look at the property and go, these are the aspects I know that people are really going to lock into, that people are really going to enjoy or going to want to know more about. When you take a Ganjin character and you look at this concept art of her, you begin to get a feel for what she must be like, and knowing how she fits into the universe and what we're going to be doing with the universe, that sort of casts the way you want to be able to present her. But you also want, for all of these characters, a little bit of an air of mystery so that people will want to know more. One of the cool things about writing stories, and really one of the most important things about writing stories, is that you give the readers enough about the characters to get them emotionally invested in the characters and want to learn more about the characters. But you can't give them everything, because if you give them everything, then they won't want to come back. And so that's been part of the fun. And for me, the artwork, because the artwork for this game is absolutely stunning, and it really is inspiring in terms of looking at it and going, okay, this is what I can see this character doing. This is how this character has got to have gotten to where she is or where he is right now.
Are we going to see some recurring characters? Do you plan on bringing some of these people back through story arcs?
Oh, I certainly would hope so. I think that's really an important part of the development of any project, is to develop some signature characters and to be able to watch those characters grow as the universe grows and watch things change. What that does is, one, when you think about it, the way we all learn about life and everything is through these little episodic bits and stories, whether it's every morning when you come into work and you learn what happened to all your workmates after they left the office, to television, to stories. So we're all sort of conditioned to that. So having continuing characters that go on, absolute godsend, and you really need to do to make the property succeed. The other thing is that, especially when you're telling short stories, you get to look at different slices of people's lives. And when you're doing multiple characters and you have them interact, you get to have different looks at these characters and different impressions of these characters. So it really gives you a full palette to play with as far as being a writer's concerned. Hopefully, and when this stuff goes really, really well, what ends up happening is that the artwork will influence the writers. The artists then will be able to look at some of the writing that gets done and some of the card design, and they will get a feel of how these characters grow, and so they'll reflect that in future artwork, and so it goes back and forth, and the universe really takes on a life of its own.
Well, let's throw another component in there. Let's say that there is a card that maybe is not included in your stories. It's perhaps an Earther character or a Ganjin hero or something like that, and it becomes popular in gameplay, and the players really enjoy it, and it might be a strong tournament card. Do you take some input like that and decide, okay, we're going to tell some story about this guy because the players seem to enjoy it?
Oh, I think without a doubt. And I think what ends up being really important is deciding how you want to approach that, and to a certain extent, that's kind of technical stuff. I mean, if there is a character and everybody seems to think they know how he is, then you probably don't want to tell a story from that character's point of view, because you're going to get it wrong. Even though there's never been anything done from that character's point of view before, this was one of the things when you think about Star Wars that was really tough on the writers writing in Star Wars. If they wrote from Luke's point of view, well, everybody who's seen the movie knows how Luke feels to them. So the chances of them getting Luke wrong to any one individual, relatively high. So you may tell a story about that character, but from somebody else's point of view. Then again, one of the coolest things that can happen is you take a card, you take art with this totally nondescript individual, and you tell a story about him, and you give him a name. And all of a sudden, people want to see a card on that character, and he takes on a life of his own and gets developed as we go along.
All right, Michael, here's a question I've been asking a lot of people that I've been interviewing for Decipher Wars Radio. Of the 5 factions, if you would put yourself in any one faction, which one would it be?
That's really, really tough, because part part of the problem that I've got is that in trying to decide, how to tell stories, and because I'm going to have to be telling stories from the point of view of each of the different factions, you try and get a sympathetic view, or you try and see how they see the world. And so I've got a certain amount of sympathy, I think, for all of the different factions that are out there. I suspect, however, if somebody were going to call my bluff, the fact that the first story is told from a Maverick's point of view, it probably indicates where I'd end up having myself. Because that way I could be a little bit taller, too. Just get a new set of legs, be a little bit taller,
Well, that's kind of what the Mavericks are about anyways.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, you have such a huge body of work, and you've made such an incredible contribution to sci-fi and gaming and things like that. You got a website. You want to tell people where they can go learn more about you?
Sure. It's www.stormwolf, that's one word, .com. It's got stuff there about the books. It's pretty much, the website is in a state of transition, but by and large, it's got everything anybody needs there to be able to write a book report if you're still in the 6th grade. And lots of pictures and a few snatches of fiction. So, if you've never read anything of mine before, there's some free stuff up there that you can take a look at.
All right. And by the way, Mike, I'm going to give everybody a sneak peek at one line from your new story. It's the line that actually made me laugh at my desk. The quote was, "Martians, by any other name, are still annoying."
Yes.
I love that line. Excellent stuff. Michael Stackpole, you will be at Gen Con signing autographs. We're gonna have your first short story, the one we're talking about here today, and we definitely would like to have you back on Decipher Wars Radio.
Oh, it would be a pleasure.
Thanks, Mike. All right, moving along, let's talk a little bit about Gen Con Indy 2004, also the site of DecipherCon 2004, where we do our World Championships. We will be there August 19th through the 22nd. If you can get to Indianapolis, you definitely need to be at this show, especially if you plan on or already are a fan of the Muon Rift Wars TCG. We will continue our artist search, looking for only the best and brightest artists out there to help us illustrate and bring this whole Muon Rift universe to life. Also, we're going to have Michael Stackpole will be there doing autographs. Conceptual artist John Howe, who did the conceptual artwork for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, he'll be there doing autographs on booth as well. We're going to do a Design a Card seminar on the booth on Saturday, August 21st from 2 until 4 p.m. There's going to be two phases of this. Part of it is you can actually help design a card, the text, the gameplay of a card that will appear in a future set. The other part is we are going to do a random raffle, and we are going to pick one person who will have their image placed on a future card. And Decipher artist Kieran Yanner will be able to do that, and he does incredible work with photorealistic stuff. So you can design a card. You might even be on a card. Again, that's happening on the Decipher booth. Game Studio guys will be there. They'll be doing demos. They'll also be doing challenge matches of various games if you'd like to stop by and do that. We got a big surprise on the booth, and we're not going to announce that prior to Gen Con, so you will find out when you walk into the hall. That's all I'm going to say about that. Lastly, of course, we've got our big Wars presentation coming up Saturday morning in the White River Ballroom from 11 until 1. I've been telling you for a couple of weeks, you got to get your preview postcard because that is your entry into this presentation. And this is where we're just going to blow it open. You're going to see everything there is to see about the Muon Rift Wars TCG. If you're there and if you get in, you're also going to get a special goodie bag with all kinds of good stuff in there. I can't even stress how much stuff you're going to get in this. We'll have more details on this posted on Decipher.com on Monday about what you will get when you come to this presentation. Again, that's happening on Saturday morning, so if you can make it to Gen Con, you certainly should, folks, because it's going to be very, very exciting. All right, moving along now on Decipher Wars Radio, let's check some email.
We get email. We get your email every day.
Okay.
Here's your mail today.
One email today, folks, so this will be the email of the week, and this one just cracked us all up when we read it. This is from Andrew in Nebraska. He says, "Hi there. I was wondering if Wars fans could get their pick on an official Wars personnel card to be printed and distributed in the next expansion set." Well, we kind of told you that will happen if you're a Gen Con. "I'm a graphic designer by trade, so I can put my own pick in the template and email it to you if it would be more convenient for you. I am willing to send you guys up to $50 worth of Pepsi or maybe Coke products if it would help ensure that you'd make an official Wars personnel card of myself to be printed in the next set. Rarity, game text, attributes, lore, and miscellaneous other game functions of said character would be at your discretion." Thank you, Andrew. "Unless, of course, you'd like me to personally come into Decipher headquarters and observe the creation of said card. I think this would provide a practically endless supply of characters as well as many more fun office days." Let me know what you think, one way or the other, yay or nay. Thank you, Andrew. Now, this is what we were talking about, bribes, folks. He's offering the bribe. He's very specific about it. It's $50 worth of Pepsi or Coke, and all we got to do is put him on a card. So I think, Andrew, we're going to have to decline on that one. If you'd said Mountain Dew, that might have been the clincher right there, but probably not enough. Andrew, we are going to set you up with the goodie bag from the Gen Con presentation for being the letter of the week this week on Decipher Wars Radio. All right, big reveal for this week, folks. Oh, last week's was just terrific. The Ganjan picture, you guys all like that. Actually, the Nobot Ganjan picture. This is our first revealed finished piece of Maverick art. This one is titled The Gambler. Here's the link. www.warsTCG.com/articles/article.aspx ? ID = 383. And this image does prove that gaming is not dead, even 400 years in the future. And it's a pretty decent image as well, so we hope you enjoy that one. All right, folks, once again, please don't post out on the message boards. We would like everybody to listen to and enjoy Decipher Wars Radio. All right, that's going to do it for this week. Next week, Gen Con Indy, the home of DecipherCon 2004, is coming closer, but when is virtual DecipherCon? We'll tell you about that next week. Also, the Decipher guys could be coming to a store near you. Full details on the way. Big reveal for next week. Another piece of finished art. It's a good one, too, folks. You're going to enjoy it. Next week's guest, we're going to talk to one of our Wars TCG playtesters and see what the game feels like to someone outside of Decipher. They're excited. We're excited to have him on the show. If you have comments, suggestions, feedback, or you just need to offer me some Pepsi products, write me here, wars.radio@decipher.com. That's all for this week on Decipher Wars Radio. Have a great week, folks.
Signal verification is complete.